Happy March, Cougars! We'll take a look at this eventful weekend of Cougar sports as we lead to many big games this month and a strong men's Cougar basketball team heading into March Madness. I'm Antwan Smith, and this is In the Game. The men's Cougar basketball team was the primetime spotlight this past Saturday as ESPN made a stop to the beautiful city of Houston to host College Game Day at the Fertitta Center. Fans were thrilled and came with strong support for the Cougars as this would build momentum towards the afternoon game versus the Central Florida Knights. In the first half, the Knights were able to prevent a shootout from occurring as the scoring would be back-to-back between both teams. It would be the strongest showing from Corey Davis Jr. to lead the Cougars in scoring with 12 points in the first half, with the combination of Galen Robinson and Nate Henson scoring 9 points to give the Cougars a 5-point lead at the end of the first half. During the second half, the Central Florida Knights were able to execute their adjustments as they forced the Cougars to switch tactics to attempt to lead with a 34th consecutive win at home. It would be a hard-fought half as the Knights would come out strong and maintain the lead throughout most of the half, causing the Cougars to dig deep in their playbook and adjust to try and defeat the Knights. Although the Cougars would leave having higher stats than the Knights, it would be Central Florida leaving with a victory over Houston, giving the men their second loss of the season and seize their record for consecutive home wins in Division I basketball. The Cougars look to bounce back and put on a magnificent performance this Thursday versus the SMU Mustangs in the final home game of the season. Now here's Sharae Corbin with an update on the Cougar women's basketball.
Thanks, Antwan. The Lady Cougs played against the UConn Huskies on Saturday. The Cougars started with a strong lead, with a 17-7 score in the first quarter, while UConn caught up mid-quarter by scoring in the paint in a 6-0 run. In the second quarter, the Cougs stayed stagnant as Sarita Hawkins adds 6 points to the scoreboard, after UConn is on a 12-0 run. While staying on the opponent's offense, the Cougs still trailed despite a 31.4 field goal percentage. The second half opens up slowly, but the Cougs stay strong and are able to keep up with their opponent. Sarita Hawkins and Angela Harris blocked three-pointers, and after 17 attempted free throws by UConn, this led to Harris bringing the Cougs within 10 points of the score. Heading into the fourth quarter, UConn hit 6 out of 7 shots with only 2 minutes left in the game. Octavia Barnes does not give up and still hits a three-pointer before the game closes. Ultimately, Houston falls to UConn with a final score of 83-61. Angela Harris, Octavia Barnes, and Dorian Branch were the lead scorers of the game with 14 points each. I'm Sharae Corbin. Back to you, Antwan.
6th record this season and plan to gain their 5th win this Tuesday versus the Rice Owls. Now here's Jawad with an update on Cougar softball.
Thanks, Antwan. Next at bat, our Cougar softball team as they took the field in the Red and White Showcase. In Game 1, the Cougars took on Texas State. In a shutout performance, the Cougars took down the Bobcats by a score of 10-0. The next 2 games would feature the Cougars taking on DePaul University. The Cougars would split those matchups, losing 2-0 in the first game, but would then shut out the Blue Demons 8-0 in the second game. On Saturday night, the Cougars welcomed in Texas Southern. In a dominant outing, once again, the Cougars shut out the Tigers by a score of 9-0. The final game was a rematch against the Bobcats. The Cougars kept the momentum going as they would defeat the Bobcats by a score of 8-3. Overall, the softball team finished with a 4-1 record in the Red and White Showcase and improved their overall record to 16-6. Next up for the softball team will be the Highlander Classic. And that's the word on softball. I'm Jawad. Back to you, Antwan.
Thanks, Ali. For more info about the game against SMU, as well as other Cougar sports, go to uhcougars.com and don't forget to like and subscribe to Coug TV for more episodes of In the Game and other shows. For everyone here at In the Game, I'm Antwan Smith. See you next week.